Good evening, gorgeous beings of light. This is Omara. I was speaking today with a client who was chatting about the difficulties in getting a new job. And then tonight, while I was meditating, this extraordinary miracle that happened maybe about 15 years ago popped in to share with her. And I just figured I might share it with you all because it's quite a gorgeous miracle. So this client, when she first came to see me, she'd been seeing a psychologist for more than 20 years, and she was doing one of my 10-week spiritual intensives. And the first 3 lessons, all 2 hours of it, was just spent with her sobbing and sobbing and sobbing and saying, nothing's ever going to change. I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. And it's actually there that I learned to go, okay, that's it. On the 4th appointment, I said, you've got 20 minutes. You could whinge and bitch and do whatever you want, but after 20 minutes, we're going to do something different. Because otherwise, if you spend the whole 10 weeks just crying about your life's never going to change, it's never going to change. And so we went on and I taught her many techniques and just to raise the frequency. It's all about frequency. And she absolutely hated her job. She'd been a teacher for 30 odd years, a maths teacher, and she didn't like the job, but she needed to work to pay her bills and etc., like we all do. And towards the end of her 10-week frequency, she was obviously a lot more optimistic, a lot more feeling better, more joyful, happy. Good things were starting to happen in her world, etc. And then I just said to her, why don't you ask, your guides, angels, God, whoever you want to talk to help you find a new job? And she goes, oh, there's none in the industry. I said, don't. Just ignore all that and just ask for what you want. Ask for what you want, raise your frequency and see what shows up. So back at me dead, about, I don't know, it must have been 2 to 4 weeks after she finished her class, her 10-week intensive, spiritual intensive with me. She rings me up all excited telling me this story that she lived in a part where she lived that they had to keep their cars down on the road because it was such a steep drive up into where the houses were. So they all just kept their houses, their cars on the side of the road and walked up to the house. And she was putting her bicycle back in a car. She'd gone for a ride on her bicycle. And the next door neighbour pulls up and says, you don't know anyone who's a maths teacher who's looking for a position at the university, do you? She goes, yes, me. And so she went in and had the interview in the next couple of days. They swapped phone numbers or whatever. And she went in, and because the job wasn't advertised, so she was the only applicant for it, she got the job. It was only like X amount of hours. It wasn't a full-time job, so that was something she'd been looking to do, but she didn't think she could afford to live on full-time wages. And her wage was something like, and we're talking like 15, 20 years ago, but her wage was something like $70 or $80 an hour, and she certainly wasn't getting paid that as a school teacher. So they're the miracles that can show up. I mean, if you say looking for a job, who would ever think that the next door neighbour would pull up while you're just putting your bike in your car and go, hey, you don't know anyone who needs this? And because she was the only person who went in, she wasn't being, I think she gave her a resume, whatever the story is, but the bottom line is she got the job and there wasn't 50 other applicants going for that job. And they're the kinds of miracles that can show up when you raise your frequency up into a higher vibration of light. Of course, now we're in the 5th dimension and lots more groovy things can happen. But I'm trusting that will inspire you to just keep asking for what you want, letting go, and raising your frequency higher up into the light, and just see what shows up for you. See what shows up for you. Alrighty. Love, love, love. My deepest love and richest blessings to you all, and bye for now.